KXL 92.5 FM.
Say the calm before the storm, but that is absolutely not the case. People are out and about getting after it. Friday night, the weekend. Love to be with you. Perhaps I will in just 1 hour. An abbreviated edition of Into the Night. We're going to send it right back over to Mr. Chubby's with Frangie and Loggeman, and they're going to take you through the NFL draft. I thought last night worked out perfectly for James Gladstone and the Jaguars. He took calls. He told that to members of the local press after the first round, which actually was faster last night. You know, the 8 minutes and, well, the obvious thing, well, no kidding, Baloo, it's 2 minutes shorter per pick. Yeah, but not everyone goes down to the final seconds of the clock like what we see in the NFL and in college football when it comes to the play clock, right? And that get kind of frustrating when you see the 4, 3, 2, and you're like, snap the ball, snap the ball. Some of these picks came in relatively soon, a night ago. And again, ESPN was making everything about ESPN. So, you know, they had to do the same. Hey, what was going through your head when you heard that you were selected and all of this and all of that. And I get it. It's their moment and, you know, enjoy it. But picks were being thrown down on the table. And, you know, the NFL is obviously in a partnership with ESPN, yet the NFL will get upset if other people have this information and they take to social media. So if you were just following it on the phone, you probably had picks a couple of minutes or so before it was delivered on television. Nonetheless, Gladstone took some calls. He elected not to move up. It's the right decision. No panic. Don't reach. You didn't need a running back. It would have been, I thought, a very bad move to give up all of this capital to move up to get Price, you know, the second running back who was selected. Notre Dame all over the place. And, you know, you can even make the case about Arizona. What the heck did they do? Moved all the way up to, you know, number 3 to get Jeremiah Love. I think he's a fantastic football player. But again, the position doesn't equal the status, if that makes any sense. The running back position doesn't equal, in my opinion, being the third pick in the draft. Now, if he's Jonathan Taylor, if he's Bijan Robinson, if he's Derrick Henry, if he's Saquon Barkley, sure. But for every time I do that, you know, you can look at Leonard Fournette and you can look at others who went way too high and it just never really did pan out. If I was ranking running backs position-wise, a running back for me is probably 9 or 10. You know, quarterback, left tackle, edge, corner, right tackle, defensive tackle, nickel, right, is so important nowadays. Is it more important than a free safety? I don't know. That's an argument. Is it a wide receiver? Certainly they're getting paid like it. And then when you get to the end, for me, it's always been running back, tight end, you know, maybe another safety, and guard offensively. That's basically it. At least that's my list, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to look at their list. They're going to look at their team's needs. They're going to take the best available player. At least that is what we do assume. All right, the biggest surprise for me is Caden McDonald. Now, if you look at this betting-wise, and I am, he is odds on the number 1 player to be selected tonight at plus 275. Translation, you drop $100. If McDonald is selected, you get back your 100. You get an additional $275. Caleb Banks was the wild card for me, and he ended up going number 18 to Minnesota. Played, only 3 games this year with the foot problems. He did send out a letter on Wednesday to all 32 teams saying that it's going better than expected, and he believes he's going to be full go coming up in June. So that is good news. And, when Dr. Kevin Kaplan called in yesterday, I would never ask him specifically about a player, about an individual. I just think it's really unprofessional to try to get that information out of any doctor who works for a sports franchise. It is intriguing how you can have totally different opinions on what you see when you study an injury, when you go inside the MRI, when you look at something that has been broken, something that has been torn, perhaps retorn a second or a third time. To me, it's just fascinating because, we make so much about 40s and bench presses and the measurables. And what I really like about this organization is I want to believe they trust Saturday's tape. They trust what they did in college. And that hasn't always been the case with general managers before. And I think that's even still league wide. There are others who are going to look at these prospects and say, well, it's all up to me as to what they're going to be able to do once we end up getting our hands on them. So for me tonight, it's all about defensive tackle, okay? And here's the only conflict. Perfect situation, in my opinion, stand pat. Get 4 position guys tonight at 56, 81, 88, and 100. I would love them to go in order. Defensive tackle with Grayson Halton. Okay, at 81, Harold Perkins Jr., off the ball linebacker, an edge, and an offensive lineman. That is what I would love for them to do. I also have to understand that they could love a guy. There could be someone sitting there right now that they love. Jacksonville is one of only 3 teams who have 4 Friday night picks. Okay? Jacksonville, Miami, and Pittsburgh all have 4 selections coming up tonight. Unfortunately, the Texans are one of 3 teams who have 2 second-round picks, right? They joined the Bears. They joined the 49ers. The Titans, for what it's worth, they only have 1 pick tonight. But I thought the Titans had a good draft. I mean, we talked a lot about Keldrick Falk, right? Remember, Jermaine Johnson's there. They made the free agency move for John Franklin Myers. You've got one of the better defensive tackles in the NFL and a Pro Bowler in Jeffrey Simmons. All of a sudden, that is a pretty interesting defensive line there in Tennessee. Tennessee's only going to pick once tonight. So that is good to know as well. But if they absolutely feel as though they have to move up to get a guy, then it's understandable. It's going to cost you. And it all depends how far you move up. I mean, what if they're saying right now that Kenny McDonald they had as a first-round grad? And they love him to the point where they're willing to give up a couple of picks to move up. Now, how far up is that? Again, the betting odds has him going number 1 tonight. I'm looking at Matt Miller at ESPN.com. He's got San Francisco tonight going with the Emmanuel McNeil Warren, the safety out of Toledo, at number 33. Carson Beck at 34. Miami's QB, of course, 2 quarterbacks went in the first round last night. And he has McDonald falling all the way to number 38. Okay? To me, that would be too expensive. I just can't see how you can go from 56 to 38. It's going to cost you too much. All right? TJ Parker, an edge at 40. You don't want that run of defensive linemen to go right in front of you. Cassius Howell at 42 going to the Saints. Let's see here. Jacob Rodriguez, a linebacker, man, he's been on a fine number 2 pencil to Jacksonville ever since the mock drafts began. And he's another guy who had a very good season at Texas Tech. Christian Miller. I think most believe right now that if Jacksonville did trade up to get a defensive tackle it would be for Christian Miller. And I'm saying that only because I don't think they can afford to get Katie McDonald. I think he's snatched up before Jacksonville is willing to make a move. Now, Matt Miller of ESPN.com has Atlanta getting Miller at number 48, okay? They just made a trade a week ago. They just added Mason Smith. So you know the relationship is there. When James Gladstone calls, they're going to answer the phone. Vice versa. If Atlanta calls, James Gladstone is going to answer the phone. But that's a reasonable spot, in my opinion, going from 56 to 48, or, maybe even the mid-40s when it's all said and done. So let me look at the rest of this. I know I did a little while ago, and, that's it. So 2 first-rounders a night ago at defensive tackle. Caden McDonald, and, what you have overall as far as Christian Miller going ahead of where Jacksonville is expected to draft. That still leaves you with a lot of possibilities. I love Grayson Halton. I'm looking at this other list here now. Actually, it is Matt Miller, excuse me. He has Jacksonville getting our Mason Thomas an edge. If they got an edge in the first round, I wouldn't hate it. Okay, I wouldn't. I mean, I still think defensive tackle is more of a need, but everyone out there listening is well aware of the fact that you've got to find yourself another edge as well. So if they elected to go there with their top pick and then get a defensive tackle, early in the third round with pick either 81 or 88, I think you can accept that. But whether it's Xavier Harris, Lee Hunter, talked an awful lot about those two. Dominique Orange out of Ohio State. Darrell Jackson is there out of Florida State. We spoke last week about both Zane Durant out of Penn State. And even later in the draft, Dante Corleone was thrown around and was mentioned. So not as many names, but still an opportunity to fill the void and get a guy. As a matter of fact, Damian Parson, who I had on Wednesday night, mentioned DeMonte Capehart out of Clemson as maybe a late third-round pick, possibly, an early Saturday pick, if he is still available. And then you have the undersized Grayson Halton, who's actually ranked as the 6th best available defensive tackle, according to ESPN, and their grouping doesn't mean that that's anywhere close to where, the Jaguars had him. Just look at the McDonald deal. For the most part, he was the consensus number 1 DT in most of these mock drafts, and he didn't go a night ago. As we know, Peter Woods went 29th, and Caleb Banks went number 18. All right, before our first break of the night, James Gladstone was asked about how all of this sets up with an opportunity to bring 4 players into this organization who can help this team not only immediately, but for the long term.
I think there's a good chance to really level up. I think one of the big things that I look back to last year is the depth of the roster as a whole being a really critical piece, so that when we did experience windows in which there were heavier injuries or attrition, that there wasn't some version of a critical fall off at any one position. And I think that helped our cause. And certainly I think that with what we have lying in front of us, not only tomorrow, but on day 3 of the draft and even following the 7th round and undrafted college free agency, those are sort of the fringe edges that you can win in a lot of ways and make differences in what is going to be a long season. So I think that that's something that we're certainly excited about focusing on.
All right, if you look at their top 4 picks a year ago, 3 are very similar to what they have tonight in the 3rd round, right? Number 2, Travis Hunter, that you can't compare that to number 56, where the Jags select tonight. But number 88 a year ago was Caleb Branshaw. All right, Jacksonville actually selects at 88, but we'll put it at 81. At 89 is Wyatt Milam. Again, they go 81, 88, and then at 104, it was Bayshell Tootin. So, last year, Ranshaw 88, Milam 89, Tootin 104. Tonight in the third round, you go 81, 88, and 100. You've got an opportunity to find some really good football players. And his point about the roster and the depth, this is a better roster. And I'm saying that with 26 openings. They have 64 players signed up. They only brought in a couple of free agents. I mean, that's it. They just actually won. They just made the trade for the defensive tackle. So they didn't do really much at all outside of the Chris Rodriguez signing out of Washington, D.C. So they have a chance, I think, to get guys who aren't starters but are contributors. You get a defensive tackle, he's in the rotation. You get an edge, he could be your third edge. He's in the rotation. You get an off-the-ball linebacker, Ventrell Miller's just not going to say, here you go, here's the job. I mean, I'd be really surprised if we get the depth chart once minicamp gets underway. They might not even give us an official depth chart in minicamp. We have to wait till training camp. If all of a sudden you see whoever the rookie is ahead of Ventrell Miller. No, I'm not saying he can't go get that job, but I'd be shocked if he takes it here during the offseason. And then at 100, to me, it's more depth in that offensive line. So, all right, this is a lot of fun. This is great. You didn't get it last night, and now you made your way through it. Tonight, you got 4 picks, unless James Gladstone does move up to get a guy that they love, and I really think that is in play, okay? If I was a betting man, I think I would actually say they are going to make a move tonight over standing pat and taking the 4. I gave you my preference. I would stand pat and take the 4. But if Gladstone says we moved up because this guy is who we need, then you got to trust him, right? I mean, you have to, based on what happened a year ago. And again, I just listed all those draft picks. They were hurt. They really didn't get an opportunity to help out last year. But they're going to be able to do that coming up in year number 2. All right, thank you to Shmunez Vision. They help bring you the program each and every night. I hope they have an outstanding weekend and certainly do enjoy the draft. Hey, it's pretty simple, folks. We always neglect getting our eyes checked. It's amazing to me, but it's just something that we do. Get on top of it, all right? Make yourself an appointment today. Get an eye examination. Get the latest as far as a prescription with your contacts and your glasses, but maybe you're a candidate for laser eye surgery. Maybe you think something is wrong. Don't delay. Go to the very best around. More than 37 years worth of experience when it comes to surgery with Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, and Dr. John Hunt. Check them out online at Shmunez Vision. You can also go to Instagram and get all of the testimonials at Shmunez Vision.
You know Dan Hicken.
You ask him, he thinks he's the best in the world, but he's a functioning lunatic.
And you know Jeff Prosser.
I mean, he's a very interesting guy, you'll see.
Sure he is.
They are The Drill.
I don't know what to say.
I know what to say.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Shmunez Vision. Why Shmunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Shmunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Shmunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit ShmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, you only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Your tax refund has plans. A vacation? A flat screen TV? Well, your plumbing has other ideas. If you've been putting off a major repair, this is your chance to get the work done and save money. With the tax refund plumbing upgrade from Duck Rooter, get $500 off any major plumbing repair over $5,000. That's real savings. Duck Rooter delivers honest, upfront pricing and experienced pros who do it right. Call to schedule a free estimate. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. Financing is available.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Attention poker players, the tables are heating up at all Best Bet locations. Don't miss a minute of the action with $800 high hands every Friday and Saturday, $555 Cinco de Mayo high hands every 20 minutes, and the Memorial Day $30,000 cash giveaway. And don't forget to earn those entries to win a side-by-side all-terrain vehicle starting May 1st in Best Bet St. Augustine. Get to your location of choice, Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine, and take home your winnings. For all the details, visit bestbetjax.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I think tonight's one of the great nights in Duval. Yeah, everything is typically around that top first-round pick, all right? Everyone's down at the bank, and it's a high draft pick, but it's all about where you start. And a 13-4 run, difficult loss to Buffalo in the playoffs. But if you look at the nucleus of this football team, it is set. The front office appears to be exactly what this city and team needs. And, of course, the coaching staff as well. So, to me, this is a great party evening. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm only going to be with you till 7 tonight. We're going to slide back over to Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra, where Frangie and Lagerman are going to take you through the NFL draft. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. Rick Alexander, 30 years of practicing law. He's learned simply, you don't want to trade health for money. Right? I mean, you can have all the money in the world. If you don't have health, that's a bad thing. However, what if you have been forced into a situation where all of a sudden you're not healthy and you deserve the money? Unfortunately, when someone screws up and you get hurt, you can either be hurt with a lawyer or hurt without one. If this applies to you, you were in a car accident. All right. Physically, you're wounded. Mentally, you're wounded. Your car is destroyed. Contact the Alexander Law Practice. No retainer fee, no consultation fee, no fee for the phone call. You're not going to be billed for anything. You're not going to come out of pocket. Okay. Take advantage of this. Rick Alexander's one of you. He is 100% Duval. He's a Gator grad as well. So, you're going to get that individual attention, and Rick deals with every single one of you. I shouldn't say deals with. He looks forward to getting with each and every one of you. That is the way they work at the Alexander Law Practice. So, 400-6,600, your best bet. Just go online. Check him out at Alexander Law Practice. You watched the draft last night, or were you mired into the NBA?
I was mired into the NBA. However, I did watch the back half of the NFL draft. Just a lot of interesting selections at certain places. Didn't think Ruben Bain would drop as far as he did. Malachi Lawrence, I mean, listen, they had a second round grade on him. I mean, here's the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if we want to use the word reach yet, but I mean, there was a guy that went early as well. And I mean, I guess, to the Minnesota Vikings, as far as they're concerned, Caleb Banks has talked them into, the fact that he's going to be okay and ready to go by training camp. So they take him with the 18th selection, when many probably thought he would fall more towards the end of the first round, maybe be taken in the early second. But I think one thing that I did enjoy, Rick, was the fact that there was all this talk about Price, the running back, and that Jacksonville may be considering going up in the first round to probably select this guy. I'm just glad that Jacksonville didn't give up all the draft capital right now, in which they have. And as we heard from Gladstone last night, there's a great opportunity now with 4 picks between round 2 and 3 where you can get 4 great players, which you've talked about a lot, Rick. Normally, when you're choosing individuals in the first 3 or so rounds, you're looking at those guys to potentially be starters.
Yep. When Mesidor and Lawrence went back-to-back, I was like, there you go. Here comes the run with the edges. I mean, obviously, early on, David Bailey went number 2 to the New York Jets, and then midway through, Ruben Bain did fall to 15. I mean, he was a top 10 guy. I don't think it's because of that story that came out 10 days or so ago. I mean, NFL teams are aware of that. NFL teams spend a ton of money doing research and investigative work to find out everything character-wise about these young men. So they were all aware of it. But when it was Mesidor, and he's 25. It reminds me of Devin Lloyd. When Jacksonville got Devin Lloyd, I want to say he was 24 when they, grabbed him out of, what was it? It was Utah, Devin Lloyd. And, Malachi Lawrence right after it. And again, I was like, here we go. I mean, you're supposed to have 8. You're going to have 8. That was 4, but no. You have to go to the second to last pick with Keldrick Falk, who ends up being, I think, a pretty interesting situation in Tennessee. Tennessee, to me, is clearly the number 4 team in the AFC South. But all of a sudden, that defensive line, if he can play with Jermaine Johnson coming over, John Franklin Myers coming over, and you still do have Jeffrey Simmons, that becomes something, at least in my opinion, that ends up being very interesting.
Was there any selection that surprised you? I mean, I understand everybody talks about the Ty Simpson pick there at 13, but was there another kind of selection where you said, I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing. I didn't see that coming.
Well, without any question, what happened with the running back, Love going number 3 was definitely a big-time surprise for me. Also, Carnell Tate, as good as he is, I thought he was the second best wide receiver last year in Ohio State. And I know the same thing was said about Brian Thomas Jr. when he came out of LSU. But if I'm like Carnell Tate, I mean, that was a little bit of possibly a little bit of a reach for me. The Delane pick, number 6, going to Kansas City as a corner was somewhat of a surprise. I think Sean McVay may have been as surprised as everyone else was when the deal was made and the Los Angeles Rams went out to get the quarterback of their future. This is a brilliant move if this strategy does work. You saw Trevor here, and of course you had the deal with the rigors of Urban Meyer and actually a quarterback competition with Trevor and Gardner Minshew. But if you can draft a young guy and have him wait for at least 1, maybe 2 years, I love that. Lord Favre had to wait. He was a second-round pick, right? He had to wait in Atlanta. He had to wait in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers had to wait in Green Bay. Patrick Mahomes had to wait in Kansas City. Ty Simpson now, this is a situation where he sits back and he watches, and then when it's all said and done, are any of us going to be surprised if it happens at the end of this year or it happens at the end of, let's say, 2027, that Matt Stafford retires and Sean McVay goes with him? that those two are off into the sunset. Stafford's got a ton of kids. He's got a young family. Sean McVay has TV written all over him. He is going to be a future broadcaster. I mean, and I just say that because I think sooner or later, I mean, we saw it with Mike Tomlin, the grind is going to end up catching up with you when it's said and done. So that's the way I look at it. The Caleb Banks one wasn't a surprise to me. Really wasn't. I mean, he's got phenomenal talent. It just comes down to whether or not he can stay healthy. And obviously, we will find out. King Dream says Rick would be upset if we got Jacob Rodriguez or Anthony Hill at 56. Upset? I don't know if that's the word. You know, I have that being the second position of need, okay, at number 81. I'm looking at what I think the biggest holes are. And for me, it's defensive tackle 1, off the ball linebacker 2, edge 3. So if they love a guy and they elect to go to a linebacker 5th, yeah, I don't hate it. And I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm just telling you what I would end up doing. So some folks getting to us on YouTube tonight, and you can join us there. Just go to 1010XL. Into the night, you can also join us, and questions are rolling in on the text line. That number is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Mike Dempsey, if you're thinking about a bathroom upgrade, maybe turning that old tub into a safer walk-in shower, check out 5 Star Bath Solutions. I shopped around, talked to several companies, and I chose 5 Star because their customer service was simply incredible. Responsive, honest, upfront about the entire project, and their pricing was even better than expected. When you're ready for a fresh look, better comfort, and a bathroom space you'll love using every day, schedule your free consultation at 5starbathsolutions.com and get the 5-star experience.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Hey, I've got that craving again. How about some Mr. Chubby's wings?
Have you had the Chubby style wings? Grilled to perfection with Chubby's secret seasoning.
You know I have. They are so delicious. I swear you can't find anywhere in town with better wings and better prices on drinks.
So many different specials each night, too. Well, I'm ready to chub it up again.
Me too.
See all their specials at MrChubby'sWings.com. Locations on Fleming Island, the West Side, and Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie for the farm at Okefenokee. My wife and I and a bunch of friends just got back from the farm, and we had an incredible experience. We toured the regenerative farm, as well as the beautiful handcrafted cabins, and were treated to a fantastic farm-to-table dinner created by Congreve and Penn. Man, was it good. Well, you can learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com. And even hear my interview with farm co-founder Doug Davis to learn even more about this amazing property. That's okefarm.com.
All right, sports fans, Hicken here, and let's talk skin. Beaches Dermatology reminding you all to wear your sunscreen. Summer's almost here, gang, and that means more time outside. You're grabbing the clubs for your tea time. You're heading out to the boat. Just headed to the beach. Definitely bring the sunscreen. Hey, Mother's Day is coming up, so get your lady a gift card for some skin care. We know women love their skin. Beaches Dermatology, give them a call. I've been seeing them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Call today online at beachesdermatology.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out of pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
NFL Draft 24 minutes away. We'll be live at Mr. Chubby's. Voice of the Jags, Frank Frangie, and color analyst Jeff Lageman will take you through the entire NFL Draft. So 4 picks scheduled, number 56, as we do know, 81, 88, and 100. An opportunity to get 4 players tonight. Just a ton of questions coming in. Would you give up a second and third round pick for the Titans, Jeffrey Simmons, if the Titans were interested? I'm old enough to remember when you never would trade with a divisional opponent. And the Jaguars did a couple of years ago with Christian Kirk. Now, Christian Kirk was a serviceable wide receiver, did some nice things. Jeffrey Simmons, when he's on, is a beast, an absolute beast. I'd have to, what does he have left? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, he's at the top of his game right now, Jeffrey Simmons. But how many years is he going to give you? Does he have 2 left? Does he have 3 left? I mean, how many more is he going to give you? On the surface right now, I would say, yeah, go ahead and make the trade because he's such a good football player. He'll be 29 in July. What's this? His 8th year? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this is the year number 8. So he's still got some real good football ahead of him. He's coming off an incredible year with 11 sacks. But I got to tell you right now, there's no way they're going to move Jeffrey Simmons. After doing what they've done and added to that defensive line, I just don't see how it works. Answer your question, though, yes. Because you know what you're getting, even though it may be for a short period of time. I haven't looked at his future contract and stuff like that either. Just went out and read your question. Thank you, though. Man, you're not going to ask him about the injury. What that chick reporter would have gotten the story. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. What injury? What injury are we talking about? 94-76, hockey stuff. I'm not going to get into hockey during 1 hour of the show. I'd love to. As a matter of fact, I'll have hockey on tonight. But not going to get into that right now. About a client here, a client that's not mine. I'm not going to mention that either as well. Come on, people. I'm not going to take shots at people like that. I think we trade a second or a third for another second-round pick. I say Christian Miller or Zion Young will be picked. Okay, let's look at some guys that honestly, and let's go to Matt Miller in his draft mock-wise second round today. The picks ahead of Jacksonville and guys who legitimately could come here. Number 33, San Francisco, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Don't see it. 34, Carson Beck. Don't see it. 35, Denzel Boston, the wide receiver. Don't see it. Tradian Stukes, safety out of Arizona. 36. I'm going to say no because you have Ransaw and you've got Williams for at least one more year. You have Antonio Johnson for at least one more year. I could see an early Saturday pick being a safety. Jermon McCoy, it keeps racking the back of my brain that the surprise here is going to be a pick for a corner tonight. And I don't know why I'm thinking that. They redid Buster, all the talk of Hunter going and, for the most part, playing more on that side of the football. You still have Jordan Lewis. Not a big fan because I think there's other positions, but it's just something to consider. All right, here we go. Number 38, Houston getting Katie McDonald. I just don't think they have enough, even though there's 11 picks and 4 tonight to go from 56 to 38. That's too much for me. Let's see, the guard out of A&M, Chas Business at 39. 40, TJ Parker, the edge out of Clemson. All right? I mean, yeah. If our Mason Thomas is who Matt Miller has Jacksonville taken as a 6'2", 249-pound edge out of Oklahoma. 6.5 sacks last year, 9 sacks in 24. So who knows? Maybe they do go edge. And there's a lot of edges that are now starting to go right in front of Jacksonville. Again, TJ Parker out of Clemson going 40 at the Kansas City. You go to 42, it's Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M going 42nd to the Saints. Let's see. Number 45, Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, Texas Tech. Absolutely. C.J. Allen, linebacker. He's more of a, he's a Mike. He's a middle linebacker. And you have a Loicon for another year. I think Jack Kaiser is the future Mike, but you have a need for another one. I just don't see it this high with their top pick. So, no, I wouldn't go there. Now, his teammate at 48, Christian Miller, absolutely. As a matter of fact, if I was to prognosticate who they get tonight, I think Miller would be my pick. And you're not going to be able to get him at 56. You're going to have to trade up because only 2 DTs went a night ago, and you know that Katie McDonald's going to go early tonight. So that would be my forecast, okay? Position-wise, it feels like there's more edges available, more off-the-ball linebackers available. So do they trust their board? Does this become a value pick where they sit and wait, or do they say in their war room tonight, we need to address a couple of needs that we have? It's going to be fascinating. Zion Young, the edge out of Missouri, going 50. And look at all these guys, all possibilities. Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas, right in front of him at 52. I mean, this guy right there that could be a starter for years and years and years. 17 sacks, 8 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. Final couple of picks right before the Jags, Garrett Nussmeier. So he becomes, the 4th quarterback out of LSU, right? Because Carson Beck going early in the 2nd round. So Mendoza out of Indiana, then I was going to say 3 straight SEC quarterbacks, but someone tell Baloo Carson Beck actually transferred from Georgia to Miami and took him to the national championship game. Emmanuel Pregon at 54, Pons out of Indiana. I love that kid. I love D'Angelo Pons. Okay, he's Terrell Buckley, man. He's 5'8". He's a shot. I like big corners. I like corners with length. I like corners with long arms. Just those short corners. I mean, look at all these wide receivers now, man. Outside of Parker Washington, I mean, they're all 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". So, anyway, he was a lot of fun to watch in college. All right, we got much more to do with you tonight until 7, as we'll slide back over to Mr. Chubby's full Jaguars draft coverage coming up tonight here on the flagship.
Get a Gator baseball chomp on 1010XL.
Top 10 Texas A&M slides into the swamp for a weekend series against 21st ranked Florida. Aggies Gators. Friday night, Saturday at 5, and Sunday at 1 on 1010 AM.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting! When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Higgins' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
April showers bring flowers. They also bring septic problems. And that's not the kind of spring surprise you want in your yard. Or worse, in your shower. Before a small issue turns into a big, messy situation, call Duck Duck Rooter. During April showers, Septic Powers promotion. Schedule a septic tank pump out at regular price, and Duck Duck Rooter will include a main sewer line camera inspection for an additional $99. See what's going on underground before you smell it. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Feel the power. Hear the legend. One night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. The look, the sound, the electrifying showmanship of one of rock's greatest bands. One Night of Queen, April 29th at Florida Theater. Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Spring is here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is Jacksonville's certified arborist for safe tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for homes and businesses. Protect your property, boost your curb appeal, and enjoy expert service you can trust. Keep your trees healthy and safe before summer arrives. Schedule your inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA-certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What a weak quarterback class, and it doesn't apply here. I wouldn't mind Jacksonville grabbing a quarterback on Saturday. I just think it makes sense to draft one, and they really like their backups. But we'll see, with 11 picks, and I don't think they'll get through this with 11. I think when it's all said and done, they probably end up making 9 selections. That would be my guess. Okay. In the final moment, and next year's draft class at quarterback is really going to be something, and that only becomes interesting if someone wants to trade up and take a pick from Jacksonville. And I do forecast the Jaguars to be mid to high 20s as far as their draft selection in a year, but only 2 quarterbacks went in the first round this year. You could see 5 or 6 right now who could go, and that's without even playing the season. I mean, obviously with Archie Manning and Dante Moore and Julian Sang and Notre Dame's C.J. Carr, Trinidad Chambliss got another year at Mississippi, Gunnar Stockton, out of Georgia, and the list just goes on and on and on. So we'll see what ends up happening. All right, here's what I think is going to happen, and here's what I would do if I was the GM. What I think is going to happen tonight, the Jaguars are going to trade up. They're going to move up 8, 10 spots. 12 spots, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they're going to draft the defensive tackle Christian Miller out of Georgia. That's if I was to have a say, or excuse me, if I was to bet on this is what I would bet on. Christian Miller, defensive tackle, 6'4", 305. Caden McDonald's going to be gone. And I don't think they can afford to move that far up. So that is what I think the Jags are going to do. Here's what I'd do. I'd stand pat. I'd make 4 picks tonight. They're one of only 3 teams who have 4 picks. The Dolphins and Steelers are with them. I've said it all along. I'm not going to change now. At number 56, give me Grayson Halton. I know he's 6'3", 293, room for some good weight. So he's a little bit undersized, but I still like him. Okay? That is my pick. Again, he may not be dominant against the run. They were number 1 rushing offense a year ago. They need a guy who can create some push and get to the quarterback. Second pick, Harold Perkins, linebacker. Guy was a top pick before he tore his ACL in 2024 out of LSU. Again, undersized, needs to put on some weight. Love his athleticism. I just think this is a guy who is going to end up being a very good football player. That is where I would go. Number 88, Danny Dennis Sutton, edge out of Penn State. All right, 6'5", 265, looks the part. Didn't watch a ton of Penn State this year. Seen some clips on him. There's going to be a long list of edge guys that are going to go in the second round. So I think you have to be honest about this and really go down best available at that particular position. The chances of getting a guy at 88 or 100 are slim and none. Heck, getting him at 56 are slim and none. But that's where I'm going to go there. So you fill 3 huge needs: defensive tackle, linebacker, and edge. Off the ball linebacker and edge. And then I'm going to go with this mammoth kid with pick number 100. Travis Burke, offensive lineman out of Memphis, 6'9", 325 pounds. All right. Project, absolutely. But you're not drafting this guy to come in and play this year. You're grooming him for 2027. Who knows what's going to happen with Walker Little by 2027. Be the final year for Anton Harrison. Cole Van Landen coming off a knee. You can never have too many offensive linemen. So that's where I'd go. Grayson Halton, Harold Perkins, Danny Dennis Sutton, and Travis Burke. Folks, enjoy it. Enjoy everything. That is the NFL Draft. What a great Friday night right here in Jacksonville. RJ Saunders, I appreciate it as always.
Absolutely, man. Enjoy the draft.
Hey, keep it right here. Coming up live from Mr. Chubby's in Ponte Vedra. Frank Frangie, Jeff Lageman, The Jaguars and the NFL drafts coming up right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Have a great weekend, folks.